Yo, what's up, and welcome to episode 105 of Throwback Hoops. My name is Rob Clayton, and as always, joining me is the man on the mic, Woody V. What's happening, my man?
Not much, man. Hopefully we have better luck with my internet and computer this week, man. Am I sounding better?
It's sounding a bit better. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. We've had a couple of dodgy episodes. Feel like it was always me with the internet problems early on in this podcast, in the first 50-odd episodes, but I feel like it's more you these days. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we do apologise. We do apologise to anyone last week. I thought we had some pretty good content on the show. It's a little bit hard with the lip sync, but let's see how it goes today anyway. So good to have you here, my man. So just before we get into things, just a reminder, please make sure you like, rate and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as always, Wood, let's get into it. See you rocking a Sixers jersey. I don't think I know who it is. Actually, I might know who it is, but yeah, show me who you're rocking today.
Yeah, well, I'll just stand up, man.
Says Woods is rocking the number 4 Nerlens Noel jersey. Very nice. Firstly, that's a huge jersey, Woods. Is that like a game worn or something? It looks very long, that one.
It's a medium plus 2. So
some of those sizing in those jerseys were wacky in the days, yeah.
Oh, definitely. And it's surprising that he's actually not in the league anymore. So just a little bit about Nerlens Noel. He's 29 years of age. He was a Kentucky Wildcat. He's the 6th overall pick in the 2013 NBA draft, and he had a career that spanned from 2013 till last year, 2023, so for about a decade with the Philadelphia 76ers, Dallas Mavericks, Oklahoma City Thunder, New York Knicks, Detroit Pistons, and Brooklyn Nets. Not that many career highlights and accolades, but he was part of the NBA All-Rookie First Team in 2015, and then he had a storied 1 year basically in college where he was the first team all SEC Defensive Player of the Year, SEC All Defensive Team, and SEC Rookie of the Year. So he was highly touted out of college, and then had a serious ACL tear in his 1 year in college, which actually dropped his draft stock. He was touted to potentially be the first overall pick and ended up falling to 6. Is there a future for a guy like Nerlens Noel in the NBA, or do you think the league has passed him by?
It's a tough one, isn't it? He's someone that has so much promise there. But yeah, you wonder just with the way the game's played now, all these big guys are expected to stretch the floor a little bit more. I mean, you still see a few big guys in the league that do play a bit more inside. I'm thinking of like Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks as a guy like that, Clint Capella for our Hawks maybe. So I guess there are still players that can play that, close to the ring. He was always a bit of a rim runner as well. He could run the floor pretty well in that. So 2015 All-Rookie team. So how old did you say he was? So he's still in his 20s, right?
29, and Claxton kid from Brooklyn, like similar sort of game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, I hope we see him back in, but probably not a great sign that we're halfway through the season now and there's still no sign of him, right? So interesting. Yeah, well, we like the randoms ones, Wood, so I'm liking that one. I know I've got my Mecca. No, not a Mecca. Who's the other Okafor? Jahil. I've got his Philadelphia jersey, so we should have worn them together and just showed some random high draft pick jersey picks. But yeah, nice. Well, I've got a bit of a theme today, as I like to do, so we are going to be doing a bit of All-Star game talk. So I thought none better than to show a couple of All-Star jerseys, Woods. I've got some a rare sort of a bit of a collection of All-Star jerseys. I had a look. I think I've got about 15 different All-Star jerseys. So I don't know if you've got many of those, right? It hasn't been something you've traditionally bought over the years, but look, the two I'm rocking today, they're both from the 2015 All-Star game that was in New York. So the one I'm hanging on my shoulder, I know you're not great with the numbers. I know you're not going to know who I'm wearing, so I'm looking forward to surprise you here. But the one I'm hanging over my shoulder is a Blake Griffin West 2015 All-Star jersey. So shout out to Blake Griffin. Probably no real surprise there, Woods, but he actually pulled out with injury from that game. So sort of fitting up to his injury history there, he was replaced in that game by Dame Lillard. So as I mentioned, both from 2015. I'll stand up and show you the one I'm wearing. I think when you see the back, it'll suddenly come flooding back. Pretty random, the back of these jerseys. They have the first and the last name, which is kind of cool the way they did these, but I'll stand up and show you who I'm rocking today.
Robbie's wearing the 0 All-Star jersey of Jeff Teague.
Did you know I had that one?
No, I didn't.
I don't think you did you? Yeah.
Speaking of Jeff Teague, he's got a very successful podcast, which I've been listening to lately. So yeah, he's done well Post basketball.
I'll have to check it out.
He's also really quickly, quicker than expected. Yeah.
No, definitely. So we'll look a little bit about Jeff Teague. Definitely feels like a forgotten player. So as I mentioned, this is the Adidas East jersey from 2015. So you'll probably remember this team, Wood. So this is the Hawks year, right? This is the year the Hawks went 62-20, went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals before getting swept, unfortunately, to the Cavs. So this East All-Star team was, of course, coached by then Hawks coach Mike Budenholzer. And remarkably, they had 4 players named to that team. So it was just crazy. So Jeff Teague and Kyle Korver were the 2 real surprise ones. And then we had Millsap and Horford, who, were they've had several All-Star games. A lot of people also wanted DeMario Carroll to make it. He was the other member of that 5-man starting 5. So bit of a crazy one that he'll have that All-Star game on his resume, Jeff Teague, right? Something else on his resume, Woods, he's also an NBA champion. So he was a part of that 2021 Bucks championship team. So he's still only 35 years of age. Feels like we haven't really seen the best of Jeff Teague for quite a while. He bounced around a little bit after leaving the Hawks there. But what were your memories of him?
Just a guy who earned everything that he got, right? He came in playing a backup role. For many years, he bided his time on the end of the bench before getting that opportunity. And when he got it, he took it with both hands. The coaching staff at Atlanta put faith in him to be that starter one year. And he just had a terrific period where he was able to make that all-star game on a very successful team. It also helped that he had some really nice pieces around him, which assisted him. I just think someone with his skill set. How old is he now?
35. Yeah.
35. Okay, fair enough. But he had a very good career. I liked his attitude and what he brought to the table, and hard worker, great work ethic, as I said. Really enjoyed him. Enjoyed him a lot. Yeah.
I remember I always wanted the Hawks to move on from him because backing up was one of my favourite players in DS17 there. So I was pleased when they did get rid of him. He actually did come back, didn't he? If you remember rightly, he actually came back and had a second stint for the Hawks there as well. So that was quite interesting. Yeah. So a bit of a shout out to Jeff Teague. It's funny looking at it, Woods. I'd actually forgotten that he was on that championship team, so it just shows you, doesn't it? Like how quickly sort of someone's time can pass there as well. So, very interesting there. So, all right, we'll appreciate the jersey talk this week. A couple of random ones.
Just quickly, it's called the Club 520 podcast, right?
Okay.
And there's no holes barred. They say whatever they want. It's very street, let's say that, right?
Okay.
And him and some very close friends talk about a variety of different topics, not just basketball. So check it out. Club 520 podcast with Jeff Teague. Yeah.
Does that mean he's going to give a shout out to our podcast on the next one there? It only seems fair, right?
It only seems fair, but I sincerely doubt.
Nice. All right. Well, I mentioned the All-Star game, so it's not too far away, Woods, but I thought we might start off with that. I know this is something we've done. Well, this will be our 3rd year of talking about it now, where we just basically name our reserves. As per the previous years, we don't know who each of us have picked, so we could get some surprises here. Maybe I'll pick Jalen Johnson. You never know. I've been talking about how he's a future All-Star, but no, probably not this year. Although give him a few years, I reckon he's going to be in name. So before we get into that, the starters were actually named on the 26th of January, so I'll just let you know those. So in the East, Tyrese Halliburton, Dame Lillard, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. In the West was Luka, SGA, LeBron, Kevin Durant, and the Joker. So I don't know what your thoughts are. Probably the only real surprise to me with that, and we know this fan votes are heavily weighted here, but Dame Lillard being the East starter, I don't think he's been amazing this year. I think you could probably make a case for 3 point guards, including our own, that have had better seasons than him. But anyway, there's always been the fan component there. And Lillard's been a guy that has probably missed out on a few maybe that he should have made in the past. So no real problems with him making it there. But did you have any issues with any of the 10 starters that were named there? Or?
No. I like that selection. The only thing was I would have gone with Jalen Brunson ahead of Damian Lillard.
Me too.
There,
I would have done that as well. Yeah, he's had an
Yeah.
amazing year. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into. So maybe we'll start off with the Eastwoods. Maybe I'll read mine out. Actually, I'm not sure if you did your format. Did you do guards, front court, and then wild card? Okay, well, let's do that. Well, I'll say my guards. So my first guards that I had picked, and these felt quite easy, right? So I had Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell.
Likewise.
Nice. Ooh, we're agreeing. That's strange. The front court, so name 3 in that. I reckon I may have a bit different to you here. So I had my boy Julius Randle, who I should say has got an injury, and I'd say very unlikely to play in this game, so he'll probably get replaced. I had Paolo Banchero making his first All-Star game, and then this is the one that I'm maybe not expecting you to have. I had Jarrett Allen from the Cavs. who is having an amazing season. Like, I'm making a case for him for being the fourth best big man in the game after the, Embiid, the Joker, and Big Head Sabonis. So, yeah, Jarrett Allen for me. I think he's made a real difference on that Cavs team. Who are your three front courts there?
So who's the three? You had Jarrett Allen?
So it was Jarrett Allen, Julius Randle, and Paolo Banchero.
Okay, so we don't have any three of the same, really.
Interesting.
So Jarrett Allen, I agree with you, but he has missed quite a few games as well, right? That's got something you got to think of. But I got Bam Adebayo, I got Scotty Barnes, and I got Jaylen Brown. Right?
Wow.
So,
well, that's actually a good segue, Woods. Those exact three that you just named then. So Scotty Barnes, Bam, and Jaylen Brown were my three snubs. So I named three snubs. So they're my three snubs that I don't think will make it. In saying that, I'd be pretty confident that someone like Bam will come in for an injured Julius Randle. But it's interesting. Miami are really sliding down the standings. It's interesting to know how much coaches will put weight into, teams' records and players and stuff like that. But isn't that interesting? Completely different there. And the three snubs that I have are the three that you had making it. So, all right, so we've got two spots left. So wild card spots. I've gone with two little guards here. Well, fairly little anyway. So I've gone with Tyrese Maxey and our boy, Trae. Trae Young. Yeah, the same?
Same, yeah.
For some reason I thought maybe you weren't going to put Trae in. I know last year I had him in, probably had my Homer hat on, you didn't. But honestly, like Woods, there might be some guys saying, what are these guys on about? That maybe they don't see a lot of the Hawks. Trae's averaging 27 points and 11 assists. Come on. And as I've mentioned a few times now, he's still not the world's most amazing defender. He has improved so much, though, defensively. He's actually got a better defensive rating than Dame Lillard this year, and I've mentioned, Dame Lillard's D as well. So I think he leads the Hawks in charges taken, which is amazing for someone that's, literally 6'1" and about, 80 kilos if he's lucky. So I think he needs to be rewarded there. Hawks are playing a bit better. They're in the playing contention. You look at the teams above it, someone that would maybe normally be a consideration, Zach LaVine, those sort of guys, Jimmy Butler, I don't think they're going to make it. So that's my two. So, okay, so we know we've got the same wild cards. Who are your three snubs then in the East?
Well, I kind of cheated. I had a few snubs. Can I go through them all?
You can go more. I've got more in the West, so I don't mind if you've got more, yeah.
So I've got Paolo Banchero, unlucky, Jimmy Butler, Kristaps Porzingis, your boy Julius Randle, and Derek White, surprisingly had a great season. I didn't even have, Jarrett Allen wasn't even on my radar, unfortunately, which is, yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis surprised me a little bit, I've got to say. I know he's been decent, but yeah, what do you want to have four Celtics on that team or something, Woods? Jeez,
I don't know, man. I was just looking at the numbers and whatnot and the impact that he's had on winning as well. Derek White specifically, he's someone that's not spoken about a lot. He's he's
been good. Whose hairline would you prefer out of Jarrett Allen and Derek White? Be Jarrett Allen, right? I could see you rocking that giant fro. Yeah, nice. So that's interesting. So essentially, we had three different, right? So guards and backcourt and wild cards were the same. It's just the three front court players are completely different. So did you have Banchero in your snubs as well or not?
Yeah, in my snub. Okay. I mean, a guy like Scotty Barnes has been leading that team. You look at the kind of stats he's been putting up. I really think he deserves that. Yeah.
I know Toronto have been campaigning a little bit for him to make it as well, but how far do you look down? I think they're 12th in the East now, so you don't often see a lot of players, get in those sort of spots there. But looking forward, and we should say at the time of recording, it's Wednesday, the 31st of January. I believe the reserves get named on Friday, so it's good that we've done them before, and we, sort of saying our opinion now, whether we'll look stupid or good or whatever. But all right, that's the East taken care of. I don't know about you. I found the West a lot harder. A lot harder, actually. So I feel like we may have a few different ones here. So
I had about 6 or 7 snubs, by the way.
So did I. Nice. I think we're on the same page there. All right, we'll do the same thing again. So we'll name the guards. So I went with, and I have a feeling you might have the same here. My backcourt, I went Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards.
Right on, brother. Same.
Right, so we're getting good backcourt predictions here, right? Let's see if we go any better on our front courts here. And I'm still a bit unsure of this. You're probably going to be shocked that I left my boy Cat off this team, Woods, and I'm a bit annoyed as well. But my front court is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I've got the two Clippers, and then, of course, my boy Domas Sabonis. So that's my three there. Ooh. What do you got?
Okay, so I went with Rudy Gobert and the two Clippers boys, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, Rudy Gobert's defensive stats this year have been ridiculous, and he's contributed to that Minnesota team's, unbelievable record in no small way, and I have him as Defensive Player of the Year on the back of some of the things he's been doing. So I've got Rudy Gobert in there alongside the two Clippers guys.
Have you watched Sabonis play this year by any chance? Or?
I had, of course, I not as much as you, but I had him on my snubs, right? So
You don't have him in the team, man.
in terms of it was, even a guy like Sengun, I thought, was
he's
potentially there.
Wow, I'm shocked he didn't have Sabonis. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say he's a lock to make the team on Friday. That's my opinion I'm throwing out there. But see how we go. But geez, interesting. We got the the two Clippers there. If you had to put those in order, would you say Kawhi slightly over Paul George, or the other way around? You could sort of make a case for either, couldn't you?
I would probably put Paul George
okay.
above Kawhi marginally. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, fair call. Well, the two wild cards, and again, this is hard for me. I've kind of gone the two superstar guys. I'm wondering if you've got similar. So Devin Booker and the Brow, Anthony Davis are my two wild cards.
Same
as well.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? So we've matched with the backcourts and the wild cards, but our front courts have been completely different. So, well, in terms of snubs, so I named, let me see, I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 6. So let's see. We know Sabonis on yours. Let's see how many other ones we matched. So my snubs are the two Timberwolves in Cat and Rudy Gobert. I really hope that Cat makes it. I'm not sure. Who does he make it over? Do they potentially try and reward the team that's won in the West and maybe put one of the Clippers there? Maybe I'm getting excited on Sabonis. I don't know, but I'd like to see Cat.
Go Bears ahead. Go Bears ahead of Cat for sure in terms of impacting on win percentage.
How many centers do you want to have on that team? I guess you've got him ahead of Sabonis. But for me, you've already got the Joker, you've got Sabonis. I don't want to have too many, but no, fair call. And then basically I have De'Aaron Fox from the Kings. I thought maybe he hasn't been quite as good this year, but I still think he's definitely close to making it. I've then got the two rookies, of course, in Chet and Wemby, and then I've got the boy you mentioned before in Şengün there. So who were yours? Did you have sticks as well, or did you have more than that?
So I had Fox, Holmgren, Wembanyama, Sengun, Sabonis, and then I also had Harden, Irving, and Markkanen as well, because these are the guys that I was tossing up between. So
yeah, I felt like Markkanen. Look, I haven't really done a deep dive into his stats from last year. I don't feel like he's been as impactful as perhaps he was last year, but no, it's a fair call for that. And I think Harden's probably a good one. I think Kyrie's missed a few games. Harden's missed games as well, let's be honest, but he's made a big impact when he's been on the court.
Lauri Markkanen's also missed a lot of games through injury early on in the season as well. That's why maybe he hasn't been talked about as much. He was a starter last year in the All-Star game, as we know, right? So
interesting. Yeah. Nice. That's always fun doing that. So as I said, we'll find out like on Friday in a couple of days' time how we've gone with that. Two guys I'm probably hoping, just even based on guys I like and who we've discussed, that'll be Trae in the East and Sabonis in the West. I really hope both those guys make it. So time will tell. Maybe we'll talk about it a bit on next week's show and see how close we were with some of those. So, all right, good stuff, Woods. Always appreciate when you do some homework there. So, all right, I guess a little bit more NBA to talk about. You remember just half a week ago, we recorded a little bit later last week, Woods, and we talked about those big high-scoring nights in the NBA, Joel Embiid and Big Cat. It was a bit of a shocker. Just a few days later, we had another 70 and 60 night. So Luka putting up an insane 73 points in a win against our Hawks. And then Booker getting 62, and crazily, that was in a loss to the Pacers there. So how amazing and crazy have these high scores been in this last week or so?
Look, it's great to see that guys are putting up big numbers, but it's also a reflection on where the NBA is today. And I talked to you about this offline before this episode. The lack of defense, in the NBA these days allows people to just say, look, if I want to get 60 and I'm feeling it, I can get 60, if you're one of these superstars. And the amount of 140 plus, 130 plus games we're seeing these days, it's ridiculous, man, right? I think the commitment on the defensive end is less. The way the game's played with pace and space, taking your shots early in the clock and things like that. Less of a half-court game gives for it. Not taking anything away from those guys. I did watch both of those games very closely, and it was a fantastic achievement. Yeah. But it does reflect a little bit on where our league is at these days, that we're seeing 4 of those massive games within such a short time space, right?
No, true. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about about Luka there. So I watched that whole game. His shooting in that game, Woods, the ball, they wasn't even touching the net. He was just feeling it from every angle. He's just ridiculous field goal percentage in that game. And no, I know you're right. I know this is probably something that bugs you a little bit more with the way the game's played in the defense. It's funny. I'm more, as much as I love everything that are related to 3-pointers, it does bug me a little bit sometimes, the amount of threes. You'll see guys give up a post position or a runner type thing where they're basically open to kick it over to someone that's to take a contested three from the corner or something. But maybe we're showing our age in some of these ways, old man type thing with the way the game's played. But I think you've raised some good points, and I think the last time we had two people even score more than 60 on the same day was 1978. So it was actually a pretty good year, 1978. I remember it well, as I was born that year. But it was David Thompson, and look, I think it was Elgin Baylor. I may be wrong. I think it might have been those two. And then it basically took from 1978 to 2024 for two guys to do it, and then it happened twice within 4 days. So it's a crazy.
I think it was George Gervin and Dave Thompson.
George Gervin, you might be right.
Yeah, on the very last game of the year,
okay.
and George Gervin needed to get to get the scoring title, man. So it was George Gervin, man.
Well, mate, considering you were -5 in that when those games took place, I think you're doing well. So no, you're definitely right, George Gervin. I should know that. I've rocked his jersey on the show.
Mr. Clayton, I'm a historian, basketball historian, right?
I know that, and I like that. So, no, good call. Well, look, we've got some NBL to talk about. Was there anything else in the NBA? Anything off the top of your head? What did you think of that Hawks-Lakers game today? I know we were both working. We got to follow that a bit. That felt like a pretty big win for the boys.
Yeah, definitely. And we've been showing some good signs lately. Our good friend Stu just on group chat, shout out to Stu from the Sport Blog, said the Hawks are quietly creeping up, in the standings. And he's right. But 20 and 27, if I'm not mistaken, we're at the moment.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, I think they're maybe 6 and 4 in the last 10. So they're trending well. A few of those teams in the East, like Orlando and Miami, I think they're 3 and 7 in their last 10. So it is fluctuating a little bit. I'm still surprised the Bulls, I'll get it right eventually, are hanging in there. I just don't really love that roster there, but they continue to sort of grind out some wins here and there. And the Knicks are obviously playing some really good ball, aren't they? It will be interesting to see without Julius Randle there how they go. And I think OG's missed the last couple of games, and they've looked pretty decent as well.
So, just quickly on the Knicks, right, while we're talking about the NBA, I was reading a stat. I think they're giving up 15 or 16 points less a game on the defensive end on games since OG has been in the lineup. And that's incredible that one player can make such a big difference on the defensive end. But I think that really bodes well for the Knicks as they make a push this year in the Eastern Conference. Yeah.
No, good call. So, I think the All-Star game, maybe the 8th of February, so that's when we'll get a little bit of a break there. I'm looking forward for tomorrow to happen, Woods, because that'll be February, and then I'll be able to say, Woods, next month we're going to America. So feels like we've been counting this down for ages. I've definitely been counting it down, but to think that from tomorrow we'll be able to say next month is pretty exciting. I just hope all these teams that we're seeing are still in contention and they're not going to be doing these random injuries. Because you never know what can happen at the end of the season. But all right, well, I appreciate that, Woods. It's a bit of an NBA wrap for the week. So let's get on to some NBL. We've got round 18 coming up this week. Pretty crazy to think there's only 2 more rounds after this one before the finals, Woods. It feels like it's gone really quick. I don't know about you. So, 28 game season can go pretty quick. But did you have anything that stood out for you in the last round before we start to preview this week's round?
I mean, look, this league is in such a good place that anyone can beat anyone on any given day, right? Southeast Melbourne basically dragged some random guys, from NBL 1, and I was joking around. Some of these guys were, probably on the street, and they just came and played, and they beat our Kings, right? We talked about that last week, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the round, Sydney hosts Melbourne, the title favorites, the league leaders, and ended up winning. So the parity in this league is anyone can beat anyone on any given day. So I think that's the beauty of the NBL this season. Illawarra, 2 really important victories against your Wildcats against New Zealand. So that stood out for me, the Hawks and making that push, and it really excites me to see what they can do if they do make that top 6, right?
Well, I'm loving how open it is. You look down at the ladder now. I mean, Southeast, I feel like I want to scratch off a few teams, but Adelaide's still sniffing around. New Zealand, I'm not quite sure what to make of them. I feel like they've maybe underachieved a bit given the talent on that team, but still feels like these play-in positions, and that's probably the whole point of the NBL adopting this rule. They're really quite open there. Looking forward to this week's round. So there's a ladder up there now. So look at that. I mean, 3 teams on 10 wins and then 2 teams on 11. So, but there's 1 win separating last and the play-in spot there. So that's remarkable, isn't it? And even Brisbane and the Kings, like under 500 now, they're, if they were to lose their next couple, they could, drop 3 spots on the ladder or something, right?
Yeah, for sure. While I've got the ladder up, I'll just quickly go through it for the people who can't see. Melbourne, Perth, Tasmania, Kings, Bullets, and Hawks right now in the contention for the play-in.
Yeah.
Who have you got as your final top 6? I just want to throw that out to you. I was supposed to ask you.
Name that, Woods. Can you believe that there's only 2 teams with a plus 50% record here? We can see the Jack Jumpers at 12 and 12. 2 teams that are over 50% out of 10. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so the top 6, I'll put my homer hat on. I'm going to say Perth are going to finish first. Melbourne second. I'm still going to say the Kings get up to third. I just think they'll start to turn things around a little bit. I have the Jackies at fourth. Brisbane sticking in there at fifth, although that would shock me if they suddenly were to lose a few. Man, a week ago I would have had the Breakers finishing sixth. I'm going to say the Hawks end up making it now. So, yeah, and I'd like to see that too. They're a team, obviously, we both quite like watching. So I'll say the Hawks finishing sixth. So Wildcats, Melbourne, Tassie, Sydney, Brisbane, Hawks. What about yourself?
Oof. Man, I don't even know. I've got Wildcats at the top, Melbourne, maybe the Jack Jumpers third, Kings fourth, Hawks fifth, Taipan sixth. Right? I'm going to go with that.
And Wooden Spooner?
SEM.
Yeah, I guess they've played that extra game. I mean, they've played, 2 more games than the Breakers there with the same record. So, yeah, you're probably right. That for and against isn't reading too well for them either, is it? Minus 168, so that's a bit of a shock there. So, interesting.
And just before we move on as well, a couple of tidbits of news, right? The Taipans have re-signed, extended Sam Wardenberg for another year.
Yeah.
On Overtime yesterday, Olgun was saying that it's a 3-year extension, but looking online today, it looks like it's a 1-year extension to be an overall of 3 years.
1 year.
Yeah?
That's right. Yeah.
And then DJ Vasiljevic, 3 years at Adelaide. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Adelaide's been maybe a harder place to get some of these free agent guys the last few years. They've lost some talent, as I think we've mentioned. Guys like McVeigh certainly come to mind that have left Adelaide. Keanu Pinder as well a few years ago. So I think that's a good move for them. It's well documented. He's not my favourite player in the NBL, but he's made an impact with them, and yeah, good on him for getting his signature.
Awesome. I'll just bring up the round here. As you said, round 18, which is due to kick off tomorrow night. You want to take us through them?
Yeah, sure. So start off with Cairns playing against Tassie. So Cairns are still hanging in there, aren't they? They probably need to get some of these home wins. Tassie, I still can't quite work out. They never seem to get the imports firing on the same night. I'm going to say Cairns in that one for myself. What about you?
Agreed.
Okay. Well, of course you're going to pick Cairns. You're a Cairns homer. But all right. So next up, Adelaide and Sydney. Whew. We talk about teams on opposite ends of form there. I mean, Adelaide's playing some really good ball at the moment, aren't they? So, look, I have to pick Sydney for that one. But, yeah, you never know. Anything could happen, right?
Man, Adelaide paying $2.10, Sydney paying $1.72. I'm not sure about those odds. I'm going to go Adelaide. I don't trust us, man. We've played well against Melbourne. Yeah. Law of averages says we're going to, pardon my language, but shit the bed against Adelaide. Yeah.
Hey, tell you what, bit of a shorter round this week, isn't there? We've got no Wednesday, no doubleheaders on Thursday and Friday, so I think there's only maybe 2 teams on doubles from memory. So, all right, so we do have a double on Saturday, Illawarra against Brisbane. So this is a big one, Woods. We just showed that ladder then. I mean, this could basically really, really put the Hawks in contention. Look, I like him at home. 2-game win streak there. I'll say Illawarra. I like this game, though. Should be a good one to watch. What about your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I mean, as you said, they've just come off 2 really big victories at home against Perth and New Zealand. The community is getting right behind them. The crowds have been really good this year, so I expect a big turnout that on Saturday in Illawarra, and I expect them to win in a canter, actually.
Nice. See if I get this right. The throwdown?
Yeah.
Yes, I got it right. I'm never good with those ones there. So, yeah, Melbourne against South East back at John Cain Arena. I know both teams have been away a little while from there with the tennis on. Look, I mean, Melbourne, looking like they're getting more healthy, and South East going the other way. So I'd say Melbourne, maybe quite comfortably. And look at those odds there, $1.14 to $5.75. Yeah. So United for me, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously the tennis has just finished up. So it's great that it's back at John Cain Arena. And with that throwdown happening, I expect there to be a huge crowd there. So
did you watch any of the tennis, Woods? Or?
Yeah, I watched bits and pieces of the quarterfinals and whatnot. But been watching the cricket, man. The West Indies, obviously, massive victory over the Australians, first time in 30 odd years. So my attention has been focused on the cricket recently. Yeah,
that's too much cricket talk, so we're going to move on. All right, so another pretty big game in terms of the standings here. We've both picked Adelaide to lose that game against Sydney. So we've got Tassie hosting Adelaide on the first game on Sunday. So look, Tassie for me, I can't see them going 0-2 on the weekend. I think they'll defend the Isle in that game. But look, this could be a pretty big weekend for Adelaide. If they, can actually, even if they go 1-1, they're still in contention. If they lose both these, like potentially we're both predicting they could be gone. But are you thinking Tassie as well?
I think Adelaide's going to win both these games, man. They're the hottest team in the league. I think they've won 6 out of their last 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Right?
This is one of those reverse psychology things, right, where you're just going to say Adelaide win and then Sydney win by 20. But I like it. I like it. It's a decent result. Interesting, man. If Adelaide win both, like you said, Woods, I mean, you could almost, pencil them in for a playing spot. Well, actually, no, maybe not. Actually, they've still got a few teams.
Honestly, I do use that reverse psychology thing, but I'm really, really high on Adelaide and the way they've played recently, right? Isaac Humphries, Trae Kell, DJ Vasiljevic. That's as good a trio as that's playing in the league at the moment, right? Yeah. And Jacob Wiley is going to be back and fit and healthy from all reports. So, Adelaide.
So can I try that, Woods? So I can say maybe I really hope that I don't win Powerball tomorrow. I don't think there's any way that I'll win it. It's just not going to happen, right? So
I think if it's your sporting team or...
The reverse psychology works for sporting teams, but not for lotto wins.
Definitely not.
And then the last game of the round. So I've got to wait quite a while to watch my boys this weekend. So the 4 o'clock game, Eastern States time, Perth taking on the Breakers. I like this game as well. Like I said, I think the Breakers are probably a better team than what their record suggests. I'm going to say Perth win. We know they're a bit of a mini New Zealand team there as well. But what are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, Perth should win. And look, if they want to challenge for that number 1 spot, as we discussed earlier, games like these at home against New Zealand are ones they need to win. So yeah.
Hey, just quickly, Woods, in that last round, what did you think of Alex Sarr's effort against South East? That was, for me, that was his best game of the season. I've still been a little bit sceptical, but he was so good in that game. He really was.
For sure. And what I really like about him is he could have easily shut it down now, right? Yeah. With that injury and whatnot, he's like, look, I want to be part of this franchise. I want to be part of this squad and make a run for the championship this year. And he's well rested, recovered, and he obviously had that energy and a point to prove. So he sent a message out there to all the scouts and various different NBA teams that he's for real. So impressive.
Well said. So as I mentioned, just the 2 rounds after this, so it's pretty crazy. And I think so the Kings have only got maybe one more home game. I think it's maybe next week, is it? So you get the last of those Sunday games. Hopefully for your sake, they won't, if they do make the finals, they won't schedule more of these day games. But it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward with them, whether they'll listen to what the fans are saying, get some more night games, or whether they'll stick with these family-friendly times. But we'll see what happens next season anyway. So, all right, appreciate that, Woods. Well, we didn't get to it last week, and I know probably a few people missed it, but let's get into some classic packs, right?
Ooh, I've got a grab.
Well, I know that's behind you, so Woods is going to grab something. I know he's got several packs there. Shout out to Sydney Sea Kings has sent us some. We've had a few other people give some cards. So,
all right,
that's like look at this, an old Flair set. Nice. Oh, this is the ones with those Dominic inserts, Woods, and I actually need 2 of those to complete that 12 set. So I hope you get one of those. You know the ones I mean? Matombo and Dominic, there's like an insert set of about 12, and geez, they were hard to get back in the day. They're not worth much now, but they were hard to find back in the day. So.
The ones with the blue backgrounds.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. I've got a full set of these somewhere without the Dominic set though.
Okay, number 41 from the Pacers, forward center.
One from the Pacers.
A little bit of background around him.
LaSalle Thompson.
LaSalle Thompson. That was quick.
It's a good start. Yeah, 41. I was thinking Eldon Campbell. No, he didn't play for him. So LaSalle Thompson. Yeah, well, I hadn't thought of that name for a while.
Ex-Atlanta Hawk, forward for the Utah Jazz, wore number 23.
Ty Corbin for sure.
Ty Corbin.
Is this going to be one of those weeks where you say, I was finally back in form or something, even though I was never out of form? But, yeah.
Bodyguard for LL Cool J. Rest in peace. Just such a great man. An unbelievable rebounder. Was on those New York Knicks teams with Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley,
this guy, Woods, I've got his jersey in one of the covers, and I keep meaning to wear it as a bit of a theme one. But yeah, of course, Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason.
Rest in peace, big man.
Do you reckon any young kid try to shoot free throws like him to copy his stuff?
No, probably not. But I don't think anyone would have heckled him back in the day about his free throw shooting. I certainly wouldn't, even if I was 100 metres away. He was a scary dude, wasn't he?
Yep. Oh, man. Bodyguard for LL Cool J. That says it all, right?
100%.
Okay, forward from the Orlando Magic. These are guys whom I haven't heard in a while. Went to Vanderbilt. He was the 17th pick in the 1984 NBA draft. Played for New Jersey and Orlando. Undersized back then at 6'9". I remember him just before the Shaq days. I think he might have just played one season with Shaq backing him.
Have you got a number on him? Number for him? My number clues are going well.
Can't see his number, unfortunately. No.
Not
white guy.
Oh, white guy. Okay. Oh, not Gert Hammick.
Jeff Turner.
No, I don't think I would have got him. Look at those shorts, though. Nice.
Okay, we've got the 91-92 checklist card.
Oh, well, we know what we're doing with that. Gone. Nice.
Gone.
I know you enjoyed doing that. Shout out to Lee Ellis.
I'm pretty sure we've got this card before in a previous 91-92 pack. It's the league leader card. Okay, it says the league leaders. Okay, it never fails whenever a team wins a close one. The victorious coach always seems to say that they won the game at the line. Slender 6'7" sharpshooting guard was the league deadliest foul shooter, hitting 551 out of 600 for 91.8%. This man, along with runner-up Jeff Malone, became members of the exclusive 90-50 club last season. Okay? Indiana Pacers legend.
Reginald Miller.
Reggie Miller.
I do remember that card, actually, because his flat top was looking good there.
Yeah.
Geez, he looks a lot like his sister, doesn't he? There's a lot of resemblance of those two.
Love this guy. This is his Phoenix Suns card, number 23 as well. Funny how many
Wayman
people
decided...
No, Phoenix Suns, and then he went to the LA Lakers. Had some really big games for the Lakers.
Of course, Sabalas.
Cedric Sabalas.
Nice. I was a big fan of that guy.
Oh, love this guy, man. Me and my brother used to always pull his card and talk about him. Had a really checkered history playing for... He went to college at Memphis. Had a really checkered history with drugs and problems. Now he's turned his life around.
William Bedford?
Detroit Pistons. William Bedford.
I hope I'm not right, Woods. Did he get charged once for like flashing, or like peeping Tom or something like that? Does that sound familiar?
No.
And I hope I didn't get that wrong. I'm sure there was one of those guys from that era that was a peeping Tom, but yeah, anyway.
No. Number 33 from the Denver Nuggets, forward center. Was a solid player. He was at San Antonio and Milwaukee before ending up in Denver.
Greg Cadillac Anderson?
Greg Cadillac Anderson, yep. On fire today, man.
You like that, right? Greg Cadillac Anderson,
yep. Guard from the Celtics that has the surname of a recently traded Detroit Piston.
It's got to be Marvin Bagley.
Yeah.
John Bagley.
John Bagley.
He always looked like he carried about an extra 10 kilos, that John Bagley, but no, he was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Certainly bounced around a bit around the league. He was with the Cavs as well.
What did you ask for?
Not Danny Manning.
No, what did you ask for?
Like a Hawks blower? A Dominic Insert. No way.
Limited edition.
Ooh, bugger. I know I do have that one, but that's awesome to get that. What number out of 12 was that? They've got a number on the back, right?
5 out of 12.
Show us the back as well. What do they look like? Wow, that's a great pull, Woods. They, from memory, were like one per box or something like that. So they were actually pretty hard ones to get. So I'm going to try and look at my folder tonight. I'm almost certain I've got that one, but I think I've got 9 out of 12. But that's a great one to get, yeah.
If you don't have 5 out of 12, I'll give it to you, man.
Put that one straight in a plastic sleeve.
I'm going to do it right now. I do it every week straight after, man.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
In fact, I've got up there's like two, 3 folders filled with all the cards we've pulled across the last
very good
105 odd episodes. So it's awesome, man. You come over next time and look at it. Okay. This is the second year, part of a dynamic duo at Seattle. One of the best defensive point guards ever, Gary Payton. Yeah.
Is he talking to someone on that card?
No.
It's a bit of a random card, that one, isn't it?
Yeah. One of your favorite players of all time, okay? Nicknamed The Rock. Played for a variety of different teams. This is his Sacramento Kings. And I do have the white version of this Mitch Richmond jersey.
Nice, I got the white version. I've got 2 Sacramento Mitch Richmonds, and I've also got a Washington Mitch Richmond. So, yeah, big fan of that guy back in the day.
Number 41 from the Lakers, you mentioned his name earlier.
Elvin
Sometimes we
Campbell.
forget to talk about him. When we talk about great players, I think one-time All-Star he might have been Elvin Campbell,
I think he might have been, yeah. Geez, he was a long unit, wasn't he? He was like real long. I think I remember him, he had quite a few good years with Charlotte, right, from memory?
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
And man, I swear to God, I ran into a guy at IGA about a year ago wearing an Elvin Campbell champion jersey, and I went up to him, gave him a high five. You know you're bald on you, man. I've been a Lakers fan my whole life. I've had this jersey for ages. We just started talking ball. So, when you see someone wearing one of those jerseys, it's not just one they just picked up off the rack at Foot Locker, right?
100%. Shout out to that guy as well. Well, that wasn't a bad pack. I'm loving we got that Dominique insert, Woods. That's outstanding. So I've actually got a card to show as well, Woods. I did send you this in our group chat yesterday. So shout out, I'm on the, it's like the NBL cards, basically fan page on Foxtel. Real good sort of community of, like-minded
on Facebook,
sort of people on that. On Facebook, sorry, my bad, yep. And I got chatting with a guy by the name of Tyler Richardson. So shout out to Tyler there. He's actually the lead singer of quite a popular band called Luca Brasi. So anyone can check them out. Spotify, everything else like that. But he actually is making a collection. He's trying to get a signed card of every Aussie that ever played in the NBA. So a bit of a mission. I think he's got maybe one or two to go. But he actually had a double of this one. He sent it to me free of charge, which I thought was an absolute champion guy there. So it's a Mango Mathiang. A little bit hard to see with the case here, but Mango Mathiang. Yeah. It's a nice signed card there. So you got me thinking, I think I might have to do a similar type thing. I know I've got a signed Patty Mills card, a couple of other ones. So it might be something I do and try and get that collection there. So apparently they didn't make any Mitch Creeks and someone else, so you can't get those. You obviously can get NBL ones of those. But yeah, shout out to Tyler. Really appreciate it, mate. He has listened to the show before, which is great. So yeah, I thought I'd just give him a bit of a shout out on the show. So
thanks, Ty.
Nice one. So, well, it was a fun show, Woods. I definitely appreciated your homework with the NBA All-Star reserves there. I'm looking forward to those teams to be named on Friday. I'm going to probably have a bit of a hissy fit if Trae doesn't make it, to be honest. So I'll probably curl up and have a bit of a cry. So just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in for another week. So great to see all our numbers going up, our subscribers. Really appreciate all the feedback we're getting. Throw us a line if you sort of agree or disagree with some of our All-Star Reserve picks. Let us know. If there's any jerseys, random jerseys like Nerlens, Noel, or Jeff Teague you want us to wear, yell out. I've been doing a bit of a clean-up of the house lately, Woods, and to be honest, I've found jerseys that I just totally forgot that I had. Almost some funny ones like, man, I can't even remember. That's so random, that one. So definitely got some good ones to come out there. So where we can be followed, of course, YouTube or wherever you download your podcasts. We can also be followed on X at Throwback Hoops, Instagram throwback.hoops, and email address is throwbackhoops.podcast@gmail.com. You can also pledge your support to us on Patreon if you want to help us out for a couple of dollars a month to assist with some expenses there. So do you have any final thoughts or anything, Woods? I know I got a bit deep last week with my final thoughts, but yeah, have you got anything you want to share for us before we wrap it up?
Hey, I hope my internet was better this week, man.
There was a few bits where the audio on your lips weren't totally matching, but to me, it definitely seemed way better than last week. So hopefully,
I hope so.
If there is any issues with that, so just basically message Woody directly on any of the channels you've got him. Just message him and let him know your thoughts. But look, really appreciate doing that, Woods. I know we've got plenty more to talk about next week. We do have a couple of guests lined up as well. I know it's probably we haven't had a guest this year yet, have we? So we need to get one soon. But I've got a couple up my sleeve that I think people will like anyway. So
great.
All right, so yeah, on behalf of all the Throwback Hoops crew, peace out. We'll see you all soon.
Thanks, guys.